The following program is the type of exercise of free speech that makes the left yearn for greater cancel culture. It makes them weep till their handkerchiefs are soaked. Makes them cringe like white people trying to dance. If your feelings need buffering, please step a little closer so I can smack you upside the head with facts. People want to watch that, which is why viewers' discretion is advised.
Not sure I'm working with this thing. Not sure. Okay. First things first. How's the audio? I know. I'm like in a whole new studio setup thing. You can tell from the tunnel behind me. Yeah, you can tell from the tunnel behind me. Whole new studio thing. So, first and foremost, can you hear me? Echoey. Rumble should be working. It says it's going to... My virtual isn't working so well. Is it the right audio, though? That's the real question. I know you have audio, but is it the right audio? No, it's not the right audio. That's not the right audio. No, I'm hearing. I just heard it now. That was terrible. This is terrible. I sound like I'm in a tunnel. Now let's try this audio. Come on. I'm gonna try this audio. Let's see how this sounds. Doesn't sound good. Nope. We're going to try. No. Wait. What? You can't find it. They're not finding it. This isn't good. Audio sound guy Joe even called me to try to help me. He did. He came in here trying to help me. It's not on him. I thought I had solved. I hate bad audio. No, I'm not okay with this. All right. I'm calling him back. I'm calling him now. I'm calling you, Joe. No, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing 2 hours in bad audio.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Well, that's not good. I know I have a visual of a tunnel, but it shouldn't sound like I'm in a tunnel. All right, well, Joe, if you see this, try calling me. All right, at least. Damn it. Okay, I'm wrong. And audio. I have so many different things I was trying to juggle to get this show perfect. And then my audio wasn't working, which is why none of my announcements, my regular announcements on X or on YouTube went out. And I'm sitting there trying to scramble to get my mic working. Like it was not really anything at all. Damn it. I know you hear me. It just sounds like I'm sitting in like my bathroom. Yeah, I do have the virtual background up, only because like I don't have a regular background up. I'm on location, whatever that means, but I'm not my regular studio, so I had to like adjust everything to try and you know, what the fact that I still use a stage mic. That's right. It's a classic SM Shure 58. I was using a different mic, but that broke on there. So this was the first mic that I used. I'm not in my bathroom. No, I'm not in my bathroom. These are the same tunnels. We're good at tunnels. Biden, oh boy, I can't wait to debate Trump again. Did such a good job. Stanford put a pillow into his face. That's pretty funny. That was pretty funny, John. Step 1, does PC see the mic? Does PC see the mic? You can call me, Joe. We can work through this together. Does the PC see the mic? I don't know. It seems like it does. Well, that was disastrous. All right. Sure, you're there. Hey. On location. You can see I have this nauseating background behind me, which is what I was going to do.
That background's got to go. I mean, put just anything else. Put anything else.
Yeah, I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to do it as it is. I'm fixing audio in front of 1,000 people. Come on. What do we got? Walk me through it.
I saw a little green light on the screen, so it looks like the mic works.
Mm-hmm.
If the computer's not seeing it, that's our first step. Is computer see the mic?
It says generic USB audio.
We went through this last week,
Yeah, I know, but then I switched locations and I had to unplug and replug everything in.
And then you just verify that everything shows up where it should before you start streaming.
Yeah, that's what I did. Before I was getting no mic at all. And then like it said it's now, and then I turned it off and on because that's like your classic.
It's amazing how often.
Did you try turning it off and on? This is he sounds very American, but the advice he gives sounds like it's coming from some British dude. Do you try turning it off and on again? Yeah. So the audio is still awful, right? It's still terrible.
It sounds like you're talking in a room, with a little computer microphone on a monitor somewhere, instead of using the 58.
Yeah. The only I have a U.S.
You can be understood. It's not catastrophic. It's just it's not up to standard.
It's not up to Joe's standard. That's basically what you're saying.
Which Joe?
No, either one of us.
There we go.
All right. I'm gonna go with this. What the hell? I'm just gonna go with this. I gotta do my show.
I mean, you give it a minute. If you can't make it work, just carry on.
We're gonna carry on.
The audience loves you. Now your content's really got to be on point.
You have no idea. My content is like on fleek. My content is on fleek tonight. I have some great clips that I wanted to share with you guys. So we're going to try and do this. You know what? Let's just do it. I'm going to let you go, brother. Thank you so much.
No problem. I'll be following along for a few minutes. You'll see me in the chat.
Joe, thank you. That is your fellow chatter there, sound guy Joe, who goes by multiple different names depending on the day and what his mood is. Anyway, so where do we begin? I guess we start here with like our primary story of the day. That's where we should start. I'm going to start here. So this happened earlier today. In case you missed it. In case you just woke up in time for my show, this happened earlier. That's what happened earlier today. Yes. So now Joe's gone. Apparently Joe is gone. That's what happened earlier today. That's what happened earlier today. That definitely happened. In his statement, how did he word it? He didn't word it exactly that way. But basically, this is what he wrote. Control. Let's see. This is what he wrote. My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. Strongest economy in the world. Yes, the strongest economy. I don't like the way that looks. I'm still trying to figure this thing out. I'm still trying to figure out where I'm at on this thing. We'll do that. We made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, lowering prescription drug costs for seniors. They were lowered for everyone until you got sworn in, jackass. And in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. That just means more people were born and we expanded it to, like, I don't know, there are more people living in America now. A record number. Next year will be a record number also, no matter who's in office. And the year after that, a record number. Stupid. We also breathed for the last 3.5 years. Passed the first gun safety law in 30 years. Really, what was that? What was the gun safety law? Appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court. Passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America's never in a better position to lead than we are today, and yet somehow we're still in crappy position everywhere. It's true. We've never been in a better position to lead. You just suck at it. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic that was overcome before you walked on board. And the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression, that's a lie. We protected and preserved our democracy. No, you haven't. You let our borders basically run amok. You have not done that at all. That's the problem. And we revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. Yeah, in other words, everyone's laughing at us and saying, "Oh, good, we can use America as our patsy, and they'll pay for our wars." It's been the greatest honor of my life to serve you as president, serve as your president. While it's been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it's in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. What the hell does that mean? Why? He's not even giving a reason why he's stepping down. He's not even giving a reason. He just says, I'm stepping down. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to those who worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. And let me express my heartfelt appreciation to American people for the faith and trust you placed in me. Notice how there's no endorsement of Kamala. He's expressing gratitude to her, but no endorsement. I believe today what I always had is nothing America can't do. When we do it together, we just remember that we are the United States of America and that MAGA is the greatest threats our country has ever faced. So that's what. And what's interesting is Aftershock actually wrote this a couple days ago, because when it was becoming clear that they were not that they were not going to endorse her. I don't know what Aftershock is, but I was like, this is a fair point. Not endorsing Kamala is the epitome of what Democrats really are. They don't actually give an F about anything but winning. Biden really ripped the mask off of the cult. Willing to say or do anything because Orange Man very, very bad. Yep. But so Biden also had some remarks today. It wasn't really well reported. It was a very brief statement from Biden earlier today that I wanted to share with you all. You might have missed it because, like I said, it wasn't reported in a lot of different news agencies seem to miss this report. Just a brief statement from President Biden, which came out earlier today.
My fellow Americans, I want to take a moment to address some of the hateful shit you've been talking about me. Many of you have said I am suffering from brain worms or that I have applesauce for brains. Well, I won't mince words, so here it is. Fuck you. You're all a bunch of faggots. End of quote. Repeat the line. So enjoy President Cackles or President Booty Juice. I really don't give two fucks anymore. Biden out.
Well, there you go. I kind of like the new Joe Biden a little bit better. I'm sorry. I hope my dad forgives me for that one. I really do. I hope he forgives me for that. I hope he forgives me for that one. That was not right. That was not right. Anyhow, and while we're sharing statements from these from different folks in the news today, there was Kamala and her thoughts, expressing herself as only Kamala can.
Well. I knew this day would come. I knew it would come, and I felt it in my ovaries. And I'll tell you something. I didn't think that sticking all those needles in that Biden doll would help, but here I am. We're gonna have so much fun.
This one is great.
Since the news broke, and I was galvanizing. And I asked my good friend Jean-Claude Van Damme Pierre to help me with my acceptance speech. So here goes nothing. Oh, say, can you see?
Okay.
By the dawn's early light. Jean-Claude, I don't want to talk about Don in the speech. It's okay. I think you're confused. Yeah, hanging around Joe just really fucked you up. All right. I'm going to do this my way. All right. I got this far. Okay. America. And Willie. Get ready. Because it is time to unburden what has been.
That was really good. I think she's really good at that. She's really good at that. Let's get serious for a moment. Let's get serious for a moment in assessing this. In case you didn't understand that reference there, that she gave at the end, it means you missed my show. You need to appreciate the genius that is Kamala Harris, the ultimate genius that is Kamala Harris.
Be unburdened. I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. What
You know.
can be unburdened by what has been? What 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 we can see, what we believe can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been? What can be unburdened by what
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
has been? What can be unburdened by what has been? What can be unburdened by what has been? Who we can be, unburdened by who we have been. What can be unburdened by what has been? Where we can be, unburdened by where we have been, and unburdened by where we are right now. What can be unburdened by what has been? What could be unburdened by what had been? What can be unburdened by what has been?
I think that one was wrong. What could be unburdened by what has been? What? What could be unburdened? What?
What can be unburdened by what has been? What can be unburdened by what has been? What can be unburdened by what has been? What can be unburdened by what has been?
I'm reading this and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know how it is that she managed. Supposedly, she used coitus to elevate herself to her power, to her position of power. She's very obviously a one-trick pony.
Unburdened by what has been, believing in what can be. What can be unburdened by what has been? 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 What
It
can
keeps
be
going.
unburdened by what has been?
It
What
keeps
could be
going.
unburdened by what had been? What
It's
can be
unbelievable. Stop.
unburdened by what has been? What can be
She
unburdened
keeps
by what has
saying.
been? What can be
Oh
unburdened
my
by what has been?
God.
What can be unburdened by what has been? What can be
Oh
what
my God.
should be
My God.
unburdened by what has been? What can be
Why?
unburdened
Why?
by what has been? What can be
Why?
unburdened by what has been? See what can be unburdened by what has been. What can be
Oh my God.
unburdened by
Be-
what has been? What can be unburdened by what has been?
Unburdened.
By what has been, and knowing what can be. Have a sense of vision about what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been? What can be unburdened by what has been? What
It's like every time. It's like the first time all over again.
could be unburdened by what had been? What can
What could be unburdened by what has been? It's like this just came to me just now. You know what just came to me just now as I was coming up here? We really should focus on what can be unburdened by what has been.
be unburdened by what has been? What can be unburdened by what has been? Where we can be unburdened by where we've been. What was possible unburdened by what has been.
Or as someone has set up here, what can be unburdened. Oh my God, unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
She's about to be burdened by 4 years of being tied to the Biden administration. One of the reasons this is the most amazing thing for Donald Trump. The most amazing. She is perhaps the only one who's weaker than than Joe Biden.
What can be unburdened by what has been? 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 That can be unburdened
It's just
by what has been. There are those
more of
who
it.
are unable to see what can be, but there are many more who are able to see what can be unburdened by what has been.
God. Wow. So there you go. That's the reference. Some of you have thoughts, though. What do you have? Bring the tunnel back. It's a good bit with the audio. I don't know what happened to it. Everything just sort of glitched on me. In this new location, every 10 minutes or so, something else glitches. I'm half expecting that at some point, everything's just going to blow up, and you're going to be like, where'd he go? So, yeah, it's likely to happen. If so, I'm going to try and make it back, and I'll certainly pop into the chats to let you know if something didn't happen. I'll sort of jump on my phone and be like, I don't know. I can't fix it. I'm going to bed. But yeah, so if you see me all of a sudden just completely just know I'm going to be back. I'm going to find my way back. I will come back for you. Apparently, Chief of Staff Zintz is the one notifying Cabinet he's not Biden himself. Is Biden still alive? You know, it's so funny because 10 minutes ago, they were all saying how he's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with him. Why would anyone think there's anything wrong with him? Why would anyone even say something? It's crazy. I actually saw, I don't know where it is here. I saw this thing which was talking about, I lost it when everything crashed on me before. When everything crashed on me, I lost where apparently he denies it's a health issue, which he said he's only going to leave for a health issue. And they kept telling us how he's totally fine. It was just one bad night. He's totally fine. So apparently they were totally lying. The struggle is real. 3 years watching one year leader, and we've gone full circle, and we're back to basic Joe. This is yeah. There you go. Yeah, I'm not a leader, but yeah. Otherwise, yes. Can't find that you're the leader. Was the show right? What's the show leader? Can't find instance of Joe underlining signal ever. Oh, you're saying it wasn't his signature of that thing? Because in that thing, that is an interesting point. They seems that he underlined. Yeah, maybe they did like off him. I like you so much better than Ben Shapiro. Well, thank you. I'm far smarter than he is. I was really very pleased with the fact that, look, everyone's talking about how he's going to leave. I said a year ago he's not going to make it. I frankly thought he was going to be out months ago, but I know when the writing's on the wall. And when I said Hakeem Jeffries was out, I said he's got less than 2 weeks. I said in 2 weeks he'll be out, and then I upped it on Friday. I said within 48 hours he's gone. He's not going to make another 48 hours. And sure enough, 43 hours later, he was out. Kamala, what can be unbided? That's by the has-been. Unbided. That's what it was. I knew I saw someone said it. That's the best comment. She is great. What a has-been. I see it's good there. That's the guy I was just talking to, the unburdened. That's Audio Joe, who was just on the phone helping me trying to figure out my stuff. Yes! I feel super burdened by this whole thing. Everyone does Jadine, everyone. Prostitutes also do tricks too, Joe. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. She's literally a one-trick pony. And I don't know if she's real or not, but I feel I'm burdened. My Jim Beam just ran out. I don't have alcohol down here. That's a good point. So I think they're pulling a Dave? What do you mean a Dave? I don't know what that means in this context. Should I know what that means? I think you're writing that as if I should know what that means. I don't know what that means, though. Let me check up and make sure I'm not missing it. The letter wasn't even on official paper. Does Joe even know he stepped down? This is Denise Ann asking this in a Rumble Rant. The memes have already been fired. This is going to be a wild 3.5 months. This is the best. This next 3.5 months, this is the best time for memes. If you enjoy good memes, 4 years ago today was the start of some friggin' killer memes. I'm telling you now, if you're not into politics, you haven't been into politics, this is the best time to get into politics, because the memes will be killer, and I will be sharing every decent meme. I'm discerning. Sometimes I'm like, I don't just give a laugh just because something is cute. No. I have to laugh, but if I laugh, you will too. This is the best Joe. Hysterical. I'm hoping they stick with her and don't change their minds and put Newsom in there. I agree. We're going to see that it's actually looking more and more. Maybe they did. We're going to see more and more. It's looking like Gavin Newsom supposedly has said, "I'm out of here." In fact, let's pull that up now. Now that Lily brings that up, I'll try and warm the cockles of your hearts. The cockles of your heart here. Newsom backs Harris. No one better to prosecute case against Trump. And this is when on Friday when I was doing my stream, I kept saying, if he wants it. I don't know that he wants to jump in right now. He might feel it's too premature. He doesn't have time to flesh out his full campaign. Gavin Newsom is someone who's had his eye on the White House for decades. And yes, this was an opportunity for him to step in here, but he probably this article is basically telling me he doesn't want it now. He doesn't want it. He's like, Trump is too strong right now. I'm not going to have a full campaign. I don't want to harm my long-term chances. Let me watch Trump steamroll Kamala, and then I'll come in 28. That's basically what he's saying. So I'll do the whole team player thing of saying, yeah, Kamala is the right choice. Newsom's seen as a top contender for a spot on Democratic ticket through his support behind Vice President Harris's bid for president. Quote, tough, fearless, tenacious, end the quote, repeat line, tough, fearless, tenacious. Newsom on the social platform X. Quote, with our democracy at stake, our democracy's at stake, we have to make sure that there's no democracy by telling you who it is that you elected in the primary. With our democracy at stake, our future on the line, no one's better to prosecute the case against Donald Trump's dark vision and guide our country in a healthier direction than America's Vice President Kamala Harris. Newsom continued. He's like, let's go, Kamala. I think he knows she's done. Harris, who previously represented California in the Senate, is seen as the party favorite to place President Biden top of the ticket following Biden's historic announcement on Sunday. They would no longer seek the party's nomination at the convention next month. This marks the first time in history that somebody has been so obliterated in debate that he basically left and said, I'm out. That's what we just saw. We just saw someone getting so thoroughly obliterated in debate that it ended his political career. I mean, think about that for a second. That debate ended Joe Biden's political career. Instead of potentially being president, his career is over. That's how badly he was obliterated. The meme content is great. By the way, feel free to share with me any memes you find that you think are amazing. That goes to any of you. Feel free to share with me your memes, and I always try and pull them up if I see anything that I think merits attention. Harris got 2% during the primary in 2020. Yep. Oh, the movie Dave about a President dupe. Oh, yeah, but that's what that was. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, I don't see how this is a Dave situation. Because a Dave situation would be if they let Biden in there, right? There you go. Good at prophecy. Kamala's dusting off the new knee pads to get the nomination. She's dusting hard. She is dusting. That's not all she's dusting off. Anyway, so Newsom seems like is throwing in the towel. And that's what I said. If Whitmer or Newsom want it, they're the most viable threats to knock Kamala Harris off. But it seems as if we're not going to be able to enjoy watching them punch each other. And that they're all lining up to jump on board with Kamala. That's what it seems like. Apparently, this is what the Democrats think we need a lot more of. This is what we need a lot more of, according to the Democrats.
Good afternoon. I want to welcome these leaders for coming in to have this very important discussion. about some of the most pressing issues of our time. I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit. And
What? What? My pronouns are she, her. I'm sitting at the table wearing a blue suit. Well, that just got the ball rolling. That got the ball rolling. Because that led to this.
With disabilities.
Thank you, Ravini, and thank you, Madam Vice President. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a white woman with long brown hair. I'm wearing a red dress, and I'm wearing a see-through mask so you can see my red lips.
With disabilities.
You can see that woman looking at her like she was crazy. But no, this is the tone that our vice president wants to set. This is what the vice president feels is very important.
I am a Black woman with curly hair, and I am wearing a vintage black and floral dress. I am a
and it just goes on. It just goes on. It just goes on. Oh.
The space to have this critical conversation. I'm a Latina with blonde highlighted hair, and I'm wearing a gray blazer over a black sheath dress.
What are your pronouns?
That's the space.
What are your pronouns? We don't even know her pronouns. Look at that mask with that. Look at that lady with like the Hannibal Lecter mask. A see-through mask, so you can see my Hannibal Lecter face. Oh my God! Oh my God! I think she ate Hannibal Lecter. God. Anyway, that was great. My name is Greg Price. My pronouns are Bushlight. I'm wearing black shorts, a white T-shirt stained with buffalo sauce from the wings I had for lunch. Oh my God. That's so good. That's so good. Yeah. What else did I have for you? Oh yeah, so apparently, the Harris campaign is already locking up delegates. This is why it doesn't seem like there's going to be a whole shark fest. I was very much looking forward to Shark Fest. They promised me a Shark Fest, but no. The Democrats are the least democracy-oriented entity in history, as they said, oh, no, we're going to take our delegates and we're going to start passing them all up to Kamala. Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign officials and allies made hundreds of phone calls on Sunday locking in delegate support for her presidential nomination ahead of the Democratic National Convention in August while seeking to block any would-be challengers, multiple sources said. At the same time, Democratic state party chairs held a Sunday afternoon call to discuss backing Harris as the party's nominee. Several participants said Harris has the chair's full support. Harris's outreach delegates started almost immediately after President Joe Biden dropped his re-election bid on Sunday. And by the way, he did end up ultimately endorsing her later, not in that initial letter, but he later ended up endorsing her. Locking in their support of the backing of state's chairs is essential to ensuring Harris replaces Biden on the November 5th ballot as the party's rival to Republican Donald Trump. Now, there is a benefit to the Democrats in using Kamala because all the donations to Biden and Harris under FEC regulation cannot be used by anyone other than Biden or Harris. So she basically is starting with an extra $200 million in advertising revenue that her competitors like Whitmer or Newsom would not have. So in that sense, maybe he felt it would be like a losing effort to try because she's going to start burning through her campaign funds to knock them off. That could be part of his of Gavin Newsom's calculus here as to whether or not he's tried taking over for Kamala. Quote, a lot of people are working on it right now. Source familiar, the matter said she has made clear she will work to earn the support and that she's going to be unburdened because she's seeing what can be unburdened by Biden's crap administration. The vice president's office in the Harris re-election campaign declined comment. Several leading Democrats endorsed her on Sunday. Powerful former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and former President Barack Obama were among those notably silent. Ooh. Silence. That's not good. But there's silence, and that's as of 10:07 p.m. tonight, or last night. As they're trying to figure out, are we really, really, really stuck with Kamala or not? There are plenty of doubts inside the Democratic Party about whether Harris can beat Trump, the Republican nominee and former president. Some Democrats suggested the party should hold a mini primary before the August convention. Biden himself endorsed Harris on Sunday in a separate statement following his letter saying that he's stepping down. He was quickly followed by a powerful Congressional Black Caucus, several key donors, various lawmakers, and super PACs, including Priorities USA and Unite the Country. That's not good. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year, Biden said on his social media platform. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. The list of Democratic lawmakers endorsing Harris grew as the day progressed. By Sunday evening, the list included California Governor Gavin Newsom. That's a big one for her. Colorado Governor Jared Polis. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. He was considered another person who might have been a threat to her. U.S. Senator Mark Kelly, Arizona. U.S. Senator Patty Murray, Washington State. James Clyburn of South Carolina. And Pramila Jayapal of Washington. I think eventually even AOC came on board, even though she seemed very upset that they're not going to have a primary, because that's what AOC does. There was an hour-long video where she was whining about the lack of a primary, and then then someone said, hey, AOC, someone from the DNC came over and said, AOC, come over here, and grabbed her by the hair and said, you're going to support Kamala, you hear me? She's like, we very much all support Kamala and thinks that she's the right answer. She spent 50 minutes basically saying how this is terrible and that not everyone agrees with it. And then today she turns around and says, we all agree with it. They're holding a gun to my head and I have to say this now. They're such liars. Such utter liars. The state of New Hampshire has jumped on board, pledging their unanimous support and their delegates. And that's what the race is for now, to try and get delegates. They need to get something like 1,970 delegates in order to win the nomination. And so far, by my reckoning, North Carolina has pledged 178 delegates or so, 77 from New Hampshire. Is that what it was? How many delegates were there in New Hampshire? There's a third state also that pledged to support her. Tennessee was the first one that jumped on board. So Tennessee, New Hampshire, and North Carolina pledged their unanimous support for Kamala Harris because why the hell not? More than 4,000 delegates released by Biden, of which he won during the primary, are now free to select any new candidates. Because Biden did release his delegates. Harris, who said Sunday that it's her intention to earn and win this nomination, is already receiving some support from one New England state. New Hampshire's DNC pledged delegates, convention delegates met Sunday to unanimously endorse Harris, the party's presidential nominee. The Granite State's 25 pledged delegates releasing a statement saying they're proud to follow Biden's lead and endorse Harris, who they call phenomenally qualified. She's phenomenally qualified. That's interesting. That's an interesting take. Phenomenally qualified. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at that in a moment. She served as a prosecutor, California's Attorney General, a United States senator, vice president. She's a trailblazer. She's not done it, and she's not done in her service our nation, the statement read. Well, not done until November, that's for sure. Not done until November. You want to know one other, before we talk about how done she is. You want to know one other entity that you should basically never, ever, ever donate money to this person ever again. Never, ever. Wow. Wow. Let me check my audio again. That's not me. That's not me. That was not on me. I didn't do anything. I haven't moved positions. I'm sitting literally the exact same position. I didn't even I'm sitting here, I'm sitting here one leg folded over the other, and I haven't even moved. I haven't slid my chair an inch. I've been sitting exactly this position, just trying to sit here figuring out why I lost internet. God. Oh, is the mic working? Stop saying no. I was going to get there. Never, ever, ever donate to this person ever again. Nikki Haley Voters PAC announces support for Kamala. Unbelievable. Literally unbelievable. A coalition of former Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley voters pledged their support for Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris' presidential bid on Sunday, hours after President Joe Biden announced that he was dropping out of the race. These people seriously should be shunned by their friends and family. They should be made to like sleep in ditches. I don't mean like because they're physically harmed. I mean that they should just be like, they should basically have nowhere to go. Their families should be, we're too humiliated to have you around us. These are the people that people should walk up to them with a microphone and say, hey, are you the Nikki Haley super PAC person who's supporting Kamala Harris? Because I think that you're a pretty crappy human being. You're a terrible American. You're an embarrassment. You're an embarrassment to everyone that you're supposedly standing up for. Biden announced Sunday afternoon a letter that he's not coming back. Political Action Committee, previously known as Haley Voters for Biden, which now features Harris's name, seeks to amplify voices of former Haley voters in support of Harris's White House bid. You literally don't give a slightest damn about whether our country is healthy. You just want to feel like you're very important. That's really what it is. Craig Snyder, Group's director, told Newsweek in an email on Sunday afternoon, organization believes Harris is the best suited to defeat Donald Trump in November. These people are sick in the head. They're really sick in the head. There's something really, really wrong with this TDS people. That's what it should be. That's what it should be. Shame, 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 shame. That's what they should be facing all the time. All the time. I didn't play around with my virtual thing. It just popped back on because it wanted to. I feel as if I'm basically subjected to the whims of technology in this site. I'm not going to kid you. I feel like I fell behind here on some of these chats. A tough former prosecutor, the vice president comes to the centrist ring of the Democratic Party, not as leftmost fringe for Haley voters. All this puts the vice president in a sweet spot for them to register their ongoing opposition to former President Trump, he said. These people, they can literally burn in Gehenna. They sicken me. They sicken me. They leave in there till they don't. I'm not sure what that. I'm a hee-haw. It's a birthday suit. I'm human. I'm getting confused. Can Cornelia now reveal her plan for the border? Yeah, seriously. Seriously. The one job she had, utter abysmal failure. For equity, will Kamala share the campaign funds? Yeah, right. She sees what can be, unburdened by having to share. Thank you, Brian. Just naming people for VP to stop competition. Trump can't wait to see what can be in 2025 unburdened by what has been the last 4 years. Here, Michael. Here. We took Kamala Harris. I don't know who this is, but oh, that's so good. Oh, that is so good. We took Joe out. More ways than one. Oh, my God. Both Joes being thrown out, Joe Biden and me from my studio. Well done, real Kamala Harris. Tunnel 63 has collapsed and took out the internet. Trump likes to tell the snake story, but he keeps letting snakes near him. He let Haley back into the convention. Now she's backstabbing him. I've seen boxes of rocks more brains than KH. This is true. It's like a breakup via text. All right. You want to know how her career died? You want to know when her career really died? Why it is? This was the moment. (2020) presidential DNC primaries.
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked...
Tulsi Gabbard here. Tulsi Gabbard, in case you forgot this moment. This is where she basically went Jeff Galooly on Kamala Harris. She just bam, bam, bam. And Kamala's left crying afterwards. Why me? Why me? That's look at her face. She's like, I didn't have this in my notes. I didn't have this in my notes. No one told me I need to be prepared for this. I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this. Put 1,500 people in jail for marijuana and then laughed about smoking it herself.
She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so.
She blocked evidence that would have freed someone. I want to know more about that case. I want to make sure it's a black person. She's killing black people.
She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California.
Slavery. She's the daughter of slave owners, and she's a slaver herself. She's a slaver. That's what she is. She was once an Indian woman, then became a black woman, and what we do know about her, she's the descendant of slave owners, and she's a slaver herself.
And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris.
I want to bring the
There you go. There you go. 4 speaking points for Donald Trump to throw out there. I don't think he's got any answers come up for that yet. Yeah. You want to know? I gave you the answer. She got smacked by a phone book. She was totally obliterated there. Totally obliterated. Google blocked Tulsi's search after this because it was that powerful. It was so devastating. It was so utterly, utterly devastating. If Biden stayed a little longer, we might have gotten to see her debate Vance and then Trump in the same election cycle, which would have been awesome. It would have been. Need advice. Old and alone. Is it wrong to maintain a platonic relationship with an old friend who feels isolated by her husband? I'm cool with staying in the friend zone unless your situation changes. No, don't do this. 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 Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Run away. Run away. Run away. Run away. Run away. Yeah, that's right. That's where I lean. That's the direction I lean. Run. Seriously. I'm talking to your soul, Cars in Depth. Run away. All right. So it does seem like she's going to be the DNC. Thank God, because Gavin Newsom or Whitmer would have been way more difficult for Trump. Way more difficult. This is really the best possible outcome for Donald Trump. So there you go.
All right, now we got to go back.
That wasn't what I wanted to go to. Oh, there it is. Okay. Transitioning over. Where are you? I've gone back and forth about the concept of whether or not there were two shooters. Wait, let me double check over here, make sure I didn't miss anything on one of my vocals before I move onward. I did. The Trump-Harris debate is going to be amazing. I agree with you, Denise, and it will be. I forgot to check here before I transition. Let me check locals. Fan says Joe Neiman Have you seen the comparison to VEP TV show? What is that? Oh, we're going to do this real fast before I switch over to the two-shooter issue. We'll do this real fast. Fans wants me to check it out. I respect fans. There's a chance. No, don't do it. This is a Daily Show. No, I can't show Daily Show. Daily Show are notoriously terrible about clicking. I can't do Daily Show. I can't do Daily Show. They're just disaster. To hell with the Daily Show. They will clip me so fast. I'll be like in the middle of streaming. I'll think there's a technical glitch and it's just Daily Show doing Daily Show type things. By the way, some of you told me how Kid Rock is really cool and wouldn't strike me if I play his song on Thursday nights. And yeah, I got news flash for you. He clipped me with that stupid, annoying song of his. Sorry. It really ticked me off because everyone was like, no, he's cool. He's not going to come after you. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't own the song. Maybe some other entity that owns the song was the one who did it. But at the end of the day, they tagged me. My thing is processing now. It's blocked by people. It can't be monetized my Thursday night stream because I got clipped. Not as bad as the Daily Show, which would me. But they basically blocked me from being monetized. There were 2 songs that played that night, which I got hit for. So yeah, Kid Rock, not so cool. If that isn't the laptop mic, then this is the worst microphone in history. Get your money back. I don't think it is that mic. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I think I'm going through my computer. I think that's what you're hearing. At one point, there was talk Harris can't be president because parents were not born here. All Trump said was he wasn't sure DNC figured that out. Your thoughts? You see, here's the thing. Mike Johnson also was talking about trying to keep the delegates away from her and tying them up with legal battles and all that other stuff. I don't want to see that. Make it about unity. Make it about democracy. This is not the time to get petty. This is the worst time to get petty. This is the time to basically, it's about unity and democracy. Embrace their stupid democracy talk. Embrace it. And say democracy. People need to vote. And when the votes are come in, and if they're counted with integrity, we're confident that we're going to obliterate Kamala Harris because she's not fit to lead this nation. And everyone in America knows it. She wasn't, the one job she was ever given in her life was to take care of the border. And we had literally the worst border in American history. I mean, that's her resume. Her resume is, if you give me a job, I will be an utter failure. So we're going to sit here getting petty, like, no, you can't get these delegates and whatever. No, you just look petty. There's no reason to risk looking petty. It's just like, let's just march forward. She's the candidate. Looking forward to debating her and just call her out for her failure, for laughing about going to the border, laughing about it, that she thinks her job is a joke. It's just the furthest thing from a leader. There's one stupid catchphrase she says 57 times, and it doesn't even. It's about, which is about as powerful as solar energy, and she just keeps throwing it out there over and over again with her stupid one-trick pony. And you give her a real job to do, and she's an utter failure. Utter failure. That's it. You just keep pointing out she's an utter failure. Whatever position of power she's been. Whether it was to control the border, whether it was to be a fair prosecutor, she's an utter failure. She's a loser. And she laughs about it. Like, I was just being charged. Like, is this really a leader? That's really a leader? Okay. Who really thinks that? So I don't want to see them get tied down in pettiness when it's so easy to obliterate this opponent. So easy to obliterate her that why risk looking like you're afraid of her? Because she's a nobody. So you basically say she is the opponent and she's a nobody. And I'm not going to challenge her status or whatever. As it is, that all that will do is bring up her status as a citizen. All that will do is it will reinvigorate all the conversational talk about Trump and birtherism with Obama and the negative flavor that will create. There's no reason to give her that opening to have more reasons to come after Trump on stupid, petty, senseless stuff. So I don't want to see the pettiness. I really don't want to see that at all. That's not saying they won't do it. I just don't want to see it. I hope they don't. Trajectory wrong. Audio experts say 2 or 3. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. It's not Daily Show. It's VP, I think NBC. Well, I saw Daily Show in the bottom left corner. And NBC is no better. I've seen what they do with Saturday Night Live sketches. No surprise, Haley Pack is a never Trumper pack. One of Bill Kristol's products to oust Trump. He formed 4 packs of neocon never Trumpers. Yeah, not surprising. Another loser. I saw a video where a dude was scaring a bunch of Jewish protesters with a watermelon for your Daily Joe Jewisms. Can you please explain this? I don't even understand what that means. We eat watermelon. So I don't know what that means. I have no idea. I ate watermelon yesterday, so I don't know what that means. New York Times Ray trying to give her cover for being bored as our Emerson will give her tons of cover. Of course they're going to give her. They'll give anyone cover. They will, but that's fine. That's fine. America knows better. Barnes said someone brought suit of the natural born citizen in 2020 primaries. Court dismissed the challenge. So why walk down the road? Yeah, exactly. Why walk down this road? Dear leader, broadcasting from the bed. I'll have it fixed tomorrow. Okay, I'll have it fixed tomorrow. I give you my word. I'll have it fixed tomorrow. If I have to go out and buy a mic, I'll have it fixed tomorrow. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Jadine. See what the problem is that Jews make good decisions because of culture and all other cultures suck. I don't know. I mean, maybe, perhaps. I mean, I can't argue with your logic. Why is this not doing what I want it to do? Something's wrong here. This is very annoying. I have all these different. This is what's annoying me. See this bottom row here of stuff? These are all my different tabs that are open. Yes, I know I have a lot of tabs. All my different tabs that are open. There we go. All right. It's like, stop giving me my tabs. I don't want my tabs. I just want to get into the Trump 2-shooter thing. This is the guy who basically has been making the case that there's been 2 shooters. Can we get in there? Trump should sell knee pads printed in honor of Kamala's service to Holy Brown. Watermelon is a pro-Palestinian symbol. I don't know why it would be. Oh, because it's red, green, and white and black? Red, green, and black? Maybe. It's not a Jewish culture thing. Maybe. That would explain it. They're stuck with a candidate they know they can't win with and can't replace because of political optics. They've been hoisted on their own retard. Nice. Well said, Michael. Well said indeed. Joe, what the hell is Trump thinking saying he's going to appoint Jamie Dimon and Larry Fink, 2 damn globalists? I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Appoint them to what? Point them to what? I really plan on doing this, switching over. I'm supposed to be switched over by now. I'm supposed to be switched. Let me switch. I'm switching over to Trump and the 2-shooter issue.
I'm coming to you today with rock-solid audio proof that there were at least 2 shooters shooting at Trump and the crowd, and therefore the official story of a lone gunman is complete bunk. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Chris Martinson of Peak Prosperity. This is
It's getting very aggravating. It's getting very, very aggravating. I apologize. I apologize. I just lost reception. Well, I don't know how to stop this from happening. I don't know why I'm losing reception, but I keep losing it. So I don't know what to do about that. I'm not even Juju. I know the choices make more difference than what race you are. 100%. 100%. It's helpful if you're in a family that's going to motivate you to make good choices. That's the one thing I'll tell you. Okay, I'm going to try doing this. I'm going to try it one more time. But I'm going to try this one more time. Okay, so this guy here is looking to basically explain to us how there's 2 or 3 shooters based on the audio. That's what his take is. He's going to try providing his evidence. Assuming I make it all the way through this, I do want to give you a heads up that some people who are very strong Trump supporters have made some points that help debunk this. You may have already seen this video. You may not have seen this video. It made the rounds on X. Some of the questions that this guy is going to ask are good questions. But there are some other questions about the results that he's come to and conclusions he's come to, which make his findings shaky as well. And that's what I wanted to discuss with you all tonight, trying to figure this out. Trying to figure out whether it was more than one shooter. I'm bothered by the notion of being more than one shooter. I really am. When I say bother, I don't want to come to the conclusion there's more than one shooter. I'm much happier to come to the conclusion there's just one shooter, because I'm very bothered by the idea that this was actually, some FBI initiative. I don't want to come to that conclusion. I really don't. I'd much rather this evidence basically reveal that there was gross incompetence, gross incompetence, than try to grapple with my brain the idea that our government agencies are literally trying to kill Trump. So I'm much happier if this is one shooter. But I'm not going to just ignore evidence that makes me happy, because that's not what I'm about. We'll all survive. Check out Brett Weinstein with John Cullen, the 3-shooter theory. Pretty solid. Well, you get better reception above ground. I see what you did there. Nice. Put on tinfoil hat for reception, maybe. Joe's Wi-Fi got burdened. Nice. All right, let's go. Oh, you're not working now? Let me just come back to this thing.
Solid audio proof that there were at least 2 shooters shooting at Trump and the crowd, and therefore the official story of
I'm going to play us a 1 1/4.
Bunk. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Chris Martinson of Peak Prosperity. This is explosive. I'm actually nervous to bring this to you because, well, we know how much the deep state, whatever's going on, does not like having its narratives punctured, but obviously there's a lot wrong with the Trump shooting. I'm going to show you rock solid evidence today, and I'm making this public. I've been chewing on this for a while. I don't have the complete analysis yet. We're going to need more people to weigh in on this, but let me show you what I've got. So we're going to start here. This is day 3 of the cover-up, as we're calling it. And by the way, this is July 18th. I'm going to dedicate this to my brother, John Peter Martinson. He died when he was 23, just a hole ripped out of my heart. And today's his birthday. So I have to make mention of that. So it's for you, John. I know he would have admired this work. And I'm doing this for you. And that's why I'm going to be proud and loud about this. There were 2 shooters. So let's reorient ourselves with the scene again. Let me get my drawing tool out, or my pointing tool. Okay, so first up, they tell us that the shooter was here. This is very accurately located on the roof off of the drain pipe, as we covered before. I'll show you that one more time. I just want to make sure we're all sharing the same orientation, because this is important, right? And we have 2 victims here. Comparator, who died, another guy who's very severely injured. He has life-altering injuries. And then another gentleman back here in the upper right part of the stand. I'm going to show you all this evidence, okay? So first up, we need to know where all the shots went, right? And I'm going to show you that the first 3 shots came from a very different weapon in a different location than the next string of shots that came out. It's either 5.
I'm going to skip this part. I'm going to skip this part. In fact, I'm going to give you a shorter synopsis of the first like 20 minutes of this. Okay, so I've done the work on this. So I'm going to share with you a shorter synopsis. Where were you? Where were you? Was that it? No. Was that it? No. This is what it was. This is the breakdown that they have of the shots, which is actually pretty cool.
This is the area we're going to focus in on. Here you can see the 3 victims that were injured by gunfire and where they were standing in the bleachers. We're going to turn around and demonstrate exactly where these bullets came from. This model represents Thomas Crooks. His position can be seen here in this image, which illustrates exactly where he was. Turning around, we can see the path of all the bullets that were fired from this location. I placed a 10-foot red disc downrange to represent what an average shooter could hit easily. Now let's take a look at this first shot fired. Coming from our key location, bullet 1 grazes President Trump's ear. This is the same bullet that hit the spectator in the stands. We know this through video evidence. As President Trump is talking, the first shot rings out just after he says, "Take a look at what happened."
Something to say. Now you're going to see over here, there's going to be a little puff of dust that's going to come up.
Take a look at what happened. We can see the vapor trail of a bullet strike, which is the same bullet that struck President Trump's ear a split second earlier, and this video is this location here. Back at the podium, President Trump is shot and grabs his ear, falling to the ground as more shots rang out. In total, there were 7 or 8 shots, so let's rewind and watch this at regular speed.
Take a look at what happened.
I count 8.
With all that gunfire, it's easy to understand how these spectators
But it's possible that someone was ricocheting off of other stuff, which is why it sounded like an 8th shot.
were injured, not the target, including the sole spectator who lost his life that day. As we circle around, we can see how all the paths of the bullets were hitting in the location of this forklift machine, causing one of the hydraulic hoses to burst.
So there you go. That's the short breakdown. Okay, that's the short breakdown. Let's go back to Chris now. We're going to skip past his whole long thing here and start to deal with his audio. We're going to skip through to his audio. Let me skip through. Come on.
Further ado, this is that
Take a
audio
look at what
we're
happened.
analyzing. Wait. Hang on. I'm going to hear one more. There it was. There's that last one. Okay, one more time.
Take a look at what happened.
Listen to this. You hear that? That's 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then hard to unravel what's happening there because we have echoes. We've got them overstacking each other. So there's 2 supersonic cracks that come in, and later the thumps of the gun come in, the crack thumps. So it gets a little tricky to unravel. So let's do that and go there. Okay. First up, I want a big shout out to Mike Adams at Health Ranger. He was out with this within minutes for those first 3 shots. Clued me in to the idea that we really did need to take a look at the other one. So way to go, Mike. Thank you for picking that up and doing that. All right. This is the audio file. I pulled it into a program called Audacity, right, off of that video. And I find on here 9 separate shots, okay? So I find 3 then a grouping of 5, and then one last one out there. Number 9, I think, this is the sniper shot that would have, I think, looks like it took out Crooks just above the left eyebrow. If you want to go look at those, or, you know, the gross pictures, right? Obviously, he's all bloody and dead. They have that close-up picture of his face, right? And you can actually see.
So what we're getting so far is still view this as Swiss cheese incident where there's multiple failures around a single shooter to get within range. Everyone that was injured still lines up with a single shooter. Excuse me. Okay. Despite what we're going to see from this guy, I still think I'm at one shooter. Although I preface that by saying that could be confirmation bias, because I really want there to be only one shooter. I think every rally had an increasing number of purposeful lapses waiting for someone to find them. They eventually did it themselves when nobody did. Well, you would think they would have been better shots then, right? What Rest of Town is basically implying here is that they're always ready to take him out. They're waiting for someone to get first shots off, and then that way they can blame it on that guy. If the bullets are coming from different directions, how would they do that, though? That sounds difficult to orchestrate. Also, you would think that they would actually have people who are better shots and not just shooting wildly like this guy did, or like these last 5 shots ended up being. I'm highly suspicious of multiple shooter theories that are almost universally self-serving. Yeah.
See a hole right about here over the left eyebrow. So we have those first 3 shots, then we have the 5, and then that last one. I'm not going to worry about the last one as much, but we're going to have to look at these first.
The last one, they believe, was the one that took out Thomas Crooks.
So here is video number 1. Just to orient ourselves, I count off of this video 15.8 seconds from the very first to the very last shot. So the AP article that said, Crooks took a shot and was neutralized by snipers within seconds, what they meant was 15.8 seconds, unless I have this story wrong. Next, we're going to look at these first 3 shots here so you understand how we can analyze the rest of them. And so here's the shot. This is the sonic crack. So that's the bullet is the blue arrows, and then the report is going to be the black arrows. So that's the crack, thump, crack, thump, crack, thump. And of course, it was the first bullet that nicked Trump's ear. And again, let me get my thing here. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, so now I've just isolated the sound. There it is. Okay, whoops, sorry. One last time just to make sure we're hearing this right. There's 0.22 seconds between the crack and the thump, and knowing a little bit about the type of the bullet that was used and the caliber of it and the air conditions and things like that, you can estimate the distance of the shooter and how far away the shooter was. So that 0.22 second gap between the crack and the thump is very important because it helps us identify that a gun is being shot from that distance. If there were any other lengths, like if we saw a crack, thump, crack, thump, we would clearly see that that was 2 separate weapons because assuming the first and the last crack thumps were the same distance apart. So if there's any variation between...
Well, you could tell they were shot from different locations. That's essentially what he's saying. In other words, that second echo, or the report that he's calling, that if it's taking a different length of time, that's a reflection of the sound waves taking longer or shorter to travel, indicating a different location.
Between the crack and the thump, that's when you say, oh, that's a different weapon. So that's one way. The other way is just the tenor, just the sound of the weapon. Does it sound different? Now, this is interesting. This woman here had put up a video on TikTok. I really wish we could get the unaltered, I call it unmolested. I don't need all the words put on there. And it's not a consistent video, so there's edits in there. So I can't, if it ran from beginning to end, we could tell more, but I'm suspecting that we can tell a lot from it. So we're going to bring it up here because this is one of the videos, only videos that I know about that shows, I think, the first stand victim getting shot. So here we go.
Side of Trump. I'm over on the far right or far left of Trump. These are the same bleachers. Watch the top left. These are the same exact bleachers. These are to the left of Trump. Those shots.
Okay. What I've done here is, so I just want us to look I just pulled out that one tiny section. You can clearly see a bullet careening off of this railing up here, and it does it with enough force to atomize and vaporize. And so I think this is an important clue. We'll see. So let's just look at that over and over again. Pew, did you see that? Again. Pew, see that? Okay, oops, one more time. And again.
By the way, audio sound guy Joe just texted me saying, I need to explain this to you. There were more than one mic feed in the record feed, which that could also affect, I guess, what he's hearing.
So you can clearly see this shot happening. Now, this gentleman who's right, and get my laser pointer back. This gentleman right here is in a very, very distinctive American flag shirt of some kind. You can see him hunch over there a little bit, and I'm pretty sure that shot that you see careening off the rail struck him first. And the reason I think that struck him first, because we showed this before, is from this video that's...
I'd love to hear from you. You want to call in? All right, fine. He said sure. All right. I'm gonna call you. This way I know I'm going to get you. I'm going to call you from Google Voice. This is a guy, audio sound guy Joe is a guy who does audio for a living. So I certainly respect his perspective on this sort of thing.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
You gotta not pick up. You gotta let me call you. Let me call you. Just let me do it. It's just easier.
Please leave your message.
Let me call. So I do it the other way, then I have to put the do not disturb on so that I don't get other calls coming in.
Hey, Joe.
How are ya?
I'm good. I'm sitting here. It's like watching a Yankee game. I find myself yelling at the screen. It's not fair. My poor wife, she's trying to sleep in the other room.
Yeah, no, this guy, this is, so just to clarify for you in the audience, this guy is my audio assistant. He's my audio guru. So have you seen this whole video?
Not this video, no, but the trouble with all of the arithmetic is we're presuming that we're observing the sound from a single source. We're not. What most of us hear at any of these rallies or speeches is more than the microphone at the lectern. There's almost always at least two mics on either side of the stage pointed toward the audience. And that's for the purposes of putting some ambience in the record feed. The microphones that are used on the lectern are pretty directional, and they're pointed away from the crowd. Well, when the talker says something and the crowd responds, you want to perceive that response in the video that you're broadcasting. So the viewer at home gets a sense of being there, of course. You could take this to an extreme and put several mics in the audience, which usually isn't done. It's done in theater and stuff, and there are exceptions. But by and large, you're going to have some number of mics pointed at the venue that are at least used for the broadcast feed. Even if they're not in the PA system, the mics are mixed so that they don't go out the holes that feed the speakers, but they go out the holes that feed the broadcast.
Okay, so this is, I mean, I think I want to, this is what I'd like to do ideally. Are you going to sleep anytime soon? You're gonna stay.
No, I don't
I
need
guess-
to. No, I'm off today. I'm off tomorrow.
All right. So
Wi-Fi.
oh dang. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Yeah. Well, what I like to do is this. I'm going to skip ahead to where he starts analyzing the different tenor, so we can sort of try to figure out why the shots would sound like different types of bullets, and from the first 3 shots, and also the difference in length of time, and why one mic would pick up the first 3 shots differently than the next 5 shots. See what I'm saying? In other words, why would that? And I'd love to hear your speculation, but first, I think you need to watch this. We need to watch this video, and then I'll call you back afterwards.
Let it roll.
All right. So you want to stay on the phone with me, and then like whatchamacallit? Or I'll call you back after. What do you want? What do you prefer?
Yeah, give me a call back after.
Okay, cool. I'll catch you soon. All right, let's. I'm jumping through to the audio part where he focuses.
So hold this as just a bunch of conjecture until we have more. But if that gentleman was struck by the same bullet that took Trump's ear, that means that thing must have been on a rising trajectory because Trump's at 10 feet. And then further back, this guy, his chest is probably at 13, 14 feet. It's higher in the air.
See that? Yeah, but if it hits his ear, the bullet could deflect from even though it's just a soft flab, it's going to change the trajectory of the bullet and the spin and everything like that. So that could change the trajectory.
That would have been more consistent with a shot fired from lower down that was then rising instead of a shot fired from the roof, which would have been declining and coming down. We're gonna. I'm giving you this because this is going to be in a few slides. You're going to see why I'm making a point about this. Okay, so the audio from video 1, when we look at it here, the first 3 shots we can make complete sense of. Okay, fine. Then there's a 4th shot that arrives, and it does so with the bullet in a report at 0.212 seconds, close enough for government work here or rough analysis. Here's another bullet and a report, so that's the snap, crack. There's echoes. We see there's echoes, so the bullet makes a and then this sound is echoing, probably off of one of the buildings. We have a lot of flat surfaces back there. So the microphone is here, supersonic crack. And that crack makes it to the microphone, and then it echoes off of something. And so we see the crack and an echo. We could probably very, very accurately estimate how far away that flat surface is off of that echo. And then you get the report itself. Crack, thump, crack, thump. So shots 4 and 5, I'm still pretty good with shots 4 and 5 in terms of being able to make sense of them. From 6 on, man, it gets all kinds of weird. And I'm not going to take you through the weirdness from video 1 to try and resolve what's happening with those other shots. We're now going to turn to video 2. This really clarifies everything and makes the entire case. So we'll listen to it up through the shots, which is about 20 seconds of tape. Yeah, I won't take you through all the screaming and everything. And by the way, not for nothing, but screaming, I don't understand people who just start screaming and then just don't stop in an event like this. So listen past this. It's there's a lot of screaming going on, but you can clearly hear shots 1, 2, and 3, and then you can hear the other string of shots come out. We're going to analyze it. I'll break it down. We'll take a look at it. However, I do want to pre-stage this a little bit, and for yourself, decide for yourself, does 1, 2, and 3, do they sound the same at all compared to the other ones that you hear? Okay, and remember, we already have the analysis from audio experts elsewhere saying there's a difference between weapon A and weapon B. And I can show you that the rounds fired from weapon B were also aimed at the stage. Okay, so this is important. 2 weapons, one fires a string of 3, another fires a string of 5 or 6, depending on how we count, and off they go. And they were also out hitting the crowd and headed towards Trump. Okay, this is important because now we do not have a lone gunman anymore. Okay, so listen up. Here we go. And then that one more.
That sounds very different. Not going to kid you.
Again.
That sounds very different.
Muffled, and then right. That's what I hear. lot of screaming. Okay, so let's analyze this now. Let's go into this with a little bit more depth. So video 2, the way I score it, there's about 16.0 seconds from first to last shot, so very consistent with what we're experiencing on the first audio. So that's nice. They kind of line up pretty well. And here's the whole audio from all that screaming and the shots from video 2.
So you're saying be closely together?
The first 3 shots here.
That's an interesting point that Squeezer was making. I think that actually makes sense when you talk about the Doppler effect and stuff like that from the sound waves coming out, that multiple shots close together in time could change the way the pitch and tenor would go. I think that's an interesting point. Is Democrats Latin for damn rats? Could be. It could be. Not only is the acoustic suck in the new location, but the web connectivity is sus. Biden dropped out because the Trump plan failed. Only way to win. Maybe. Proof is between a 6 and 7 shot, 0-12 seconds. How many mics were that's Thomas saying, thank you, Barb. Thank you for, I'm going to give you one of these just because I appreciate that. Thank you, Barb. I think the Democrats want to confuse your kids. Could be. If one's in the woods had an advantage in stage from overhead, yet only Trump hit. How do they, if there's like other shooters there, how are they as bad as this guy who dropped out, who failed shooting class? That's the question that I'm going to have. They probably had a stage mic and mic for audience reaction. A stage mic is directional and has cutoff to eliminate audience noise. And we'll hear from Audio Joe after we're done with this. I'll call him. This could be fire. That could be a fire returned by Secret Service. Supposedly it's not, though. Supposedly it's not.
Four shots here from a second weapon. I'm not sure about this one. It has a very different sound. That
was the first thought I had.
Here's the final last shot, which I believe is from. Oops, sorry, I don't have my thing. You don't know what I'm pointing at. This is the 5 that make a very distinct sound. Here's one with a very different crack in it. That's the 6th shot in the string, and then here we have the final last one, which I think is the sniper weapon, which is probably the one that put the bullet just over the left eye of Crooks on the roof. So we're going to take a closer look at the blue, the red, the blacks here and listen to these things. But once again, let's just listen very carefully, and we'll go back and forth until you're certain of this yourself. Here's just the first 3 shots from that video. I haven't done anything, no audio. I haven't done any enhancements. This is both of these video audio pieces are exactly pulled straight from the video itself. Nothing else. I haven't boosted any. I haven't done any filtering. Raw files. Okay. So, and by the way, every instinct in me was to try and minimize all the screaming, but I was like, nope. That just add like, what did you do? And then there's questions. These are raw files. Here's 1, 2, and 3 to start. Okay. Listen to that again. And one more time. Okay. Now let's listen to the next string. Ooh. Yeah. Hear that? So 6 sounds different to me, but here's an interesting thing. 1, 2, and 3, besides being muffled and further away, it doesn't have echoes. Here we have, this is a shot here, this one, this peak. Oh, darn it, I don't have my thing up again. Here we go. So this here is a shot. This is an echo. Very clearly an echo, and a shot in an echo, and a shot in an echo. So this is actually critical evidence, because you hear that, there's echoes coming off. So that also allows us, again, to analyze where was this gun. But first up, we just have an absolutely different sound between the first 3. There's no echo. It's much further away. It's more muffled. It's just not in the same place at all. But these next ones, very different sound, totally different weapons. Okay, full stop. We have 2 separate weapons. Plus, we have no echoes coming off of the first 3, and then we do have echoes coming off of the next set. And that last one, that's different. That's not the sniper shot. The sniper shot is another 10 seconds later. So I don't know what number 6 is here, but we're just going to bookmark it for now and go on. So audio analysis conducted by Nick tells us that if those next string of shots, those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are coming from shooter, or who we're going to call shooter 2, because shooter 1 is sending off those muffled ones. Shooter 2 is very consistent. If somebody was on the roof firing something with a 223 round, those, and here's where audio 2 is recorded from. That we've isolated exactly where the person was standing. They were walking, so there's a little movement, but they were basically right here. The echoes we have is perfectly consistent with conditions, atmospheric conditions of the day, to have bounced off of this building, because that's what you need for an echo. You need a hard, flat surface to echo off of. So that's what we got. We have an echo that perfectly lines up with somebody being up there in shooter number 2 position. Now, here's where it gets a little weirder. So what I've done, and this is, I've taken the first
I don't know what to make out of
timeline.
this.
This is the video number
I'm getting
1
so
audio,
confused.
and I've lined it up with video
Am I the
number
only-
2's audio. And for the most part, we're in pretty darn good shape, right? Here you can see, so this is the supersonic crack. So that's the crack of the bullet arriving. And I've lined that up with what I did. I just shifted the timelines to line up with, this is the report of the gun. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gun plus the 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've lined up that first blast of the gun with the arrival of the bullet so that it should be consistent, because if you have the explosion, the arrival of it downstream, they ought to line up, right? The timings ought to be the same. So sure enough, shot 1, no problemo, lines up perfectly. This is an echo up top there. Here's the echo down here for shot 1. The top bullet is echoing off of whatever it's echoing up there near the stage. And this is echoing probably off of that building surface we just showed you. So shot 1, 100%, we're good to go. Shot 2, same thing, lines up perfectly. It's got an echo right here. That's that little peak right there. And it's got an echo up top. Everything lines up. Shot 3, though, remember, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one doesn't line up. This one is actually, this shot happens about 0.03 seconds earlier. There's not alignment. It should be right under this peak, but it's not, which means the shot happened 0.03 seconds. It took 0.03 seconds longer for that bullet to get downstream, right? To the microphone in front of the Trump platform there. If that, what does that mean? Well, that means that it's somewhere between, depending on the caliber and, well, maybe the caliber. I don't have any bullets here. I can't guarantee anything. Depending on a lot of things, the muzzle velocity of whatever this projectile was, and things like that. That 0.03 seconds, assuming it's 2,600 feet per second, that's how fast this thing's traveling. Could be 2,500, could be 3,000. I don't know what they're using, so you have to make some guesses. But it's further away. This implies the possibility that shots 1 and 2, those are fired by crooks, but somebody about 78 to 100 feet further away took shot 3. Then shots 4 and 5 line up again perfectly, but shot 6, hey, that's off the mark again by the same amount. And, oh, there's not quite the echoes that are happening off of shot 3. We don't see the same. There should be an echo right here. There should be an echo right here. We don't see that, not like these big echoes. So there's a chance here. I'm making a chance that there's a possibility of there were 2 weapons being fired that are different from the first one. 1, 2, 3 are from weapon 1.
This is starting to sound crazy.
Different spot, but there's a possibility because of those.
It's like I'm listening to this and I'm like, what are there, like 17 shooters in the crowd and they all suck? Like, I have a hard time with this. I have a hard time with this. But I don't know how to understand the audio. Like, I can't dispute the audio. It's just like, what are you trying to say here? No one saw other people shooting? And they're lined up directly behind him?
Weapon 3. So it could be that 1, 2, 4, 5 were taken by crooks on the roof because he heard some stuff going on, decided to take his shots, but 3 and 6 were taken by somebody else another 100 feet away. I don't know. We're going to need more professional audio analysis, but I like it when everything lines up, and everything does line up until we get to there. And then further down the timeline, things get really weird.
If he thinks it's the window underneath him, it's like someone's saying
down at that end of the
if
spectrum.
he thinks it's the window underneath him, then why would it be 70 feet further?
Some weird stuff down there.
It'd be closer,
but it doesn't line up really well enough for my taste. Okay, so hypothesis. What do we have here? Okay, Here's the hypothesis. At least 2 shooters, maybe 3. Don't know. The first 3 shots, I suspect, my hypothesis is they came from inside the building. All right? They were inside that, like if Crooks was on the roof, opened the window, those shots came in from down below. Why do I think that? Because that ensures that the crack boom are consistent with the Patsy on the roof. The angles are the same. The crack boom isn't off. There's nothing to analyze, right?
Then why would he start
if those
shooting?
First 3 shots come out from below Crooks, then it all lines up, right? And this aligns with what we have from video number 2's audio, where it's more distant, it's a muffled sound that would be more consistent with.
I see. This theory doesn't make any sense to me. So he starts shooting after
being inside. We don't have. It's also the upward slope of that bullet, right? Now that begins to line up. If it's true that back victim was struck with bullet 1. And also all the lack of echoes. So everything's consistent with that hypothesis, and it's just a hypothesis. I'm just trying to, put some meats on the bones of what might have happened here, because I know for a fact we had 2 guns, period, maybe 3. I could make a case for 3.
I'll tell you this much: I cannot believe that a bullet would hit Trump's ear, and that would not affect at all the trajectory of the bullet. They would just keep going exactly the same trajectory. I don't buy that at all.
I'm not as solid on that. I'm going to wait for expert analysis. But we don't need any further expert analysis to understand there were 2 weapons being fired.
I've been following baseball enough and trajectory of pitches and trying to understand that to know that you put anything onto a rotation, and you're talking about like that kind of distance, it's gonna affect it by inches or by the time it hits something, or feet, in ways that you're not going to anticipate.
At the stage, right? Because here's what happened. These next string of shots down here, which I'm highlighting, this is the recording from video 2. This is, video 2's, audio 2, video 2. Video 1, which is taken from the microphone right at the front where Trump is, these are sonic signatures. So these booms led to these cracks, right? These explosions of this weapon resulted in bullets making sonic booms right over the microphone down at Trump stage. So let's be clear. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wasn't like, because I can hear it already. They're like, the Beaver County Emergency Services Unit saw him and climbed up and I guess that's what it was. That's not
Thank
what
you,
it was.
Barb. You're awesome.
This second weapon that was fired, leaving the echoes and that sharper crack, that was fired towards the stands. So we have 2 shooters, guaranteed, full stop. Okay. In the second group of shots.
That's what it sounds like he's saying to me also, Sunwoo King. The upside of the web, everyone has a voice. Downside, everyone has a voice. I call BS with Patsy theory. His meat and bones are rancid.
I'm positive that 1, 2, 4, and 5, pretty sure those were fired by Crooks. Lines up with everything, the echoes, and the snaps recorded downrange, all that. Now, shots 3 and 6 are puzzling. Again, expert analysis will be required here. Not me. I'm just a doof with audacity and some common sense. But their delayed arrival downrange suggests they were taken 78 to.
All right, I'm gonna try calling Joe.
Position. That would be consistent with somebody being on one of those other roofs just behind him. Just in case. Just in case of mission failure, I guess.
And then missing so wildly. And shooting after he's already down on the ground, like, what are you shooting at that point? I don't understand. Like, what are they seeing in their sights? All right, I'm done with that video. I'm gonna try calling Joe, and we're gonna wrap this thing up. I'm gonna wrap it up. Wrap this up in the next 5 minutes or so, because I'm very frustrated. Very, very frustrated. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. He talks about Windows, but shows no building with Windows. That could work. Yeah, that could work. Yeah. All right. I'm calling. This. I wanted to share with you so many other things. Also, it's so aggravating. I just don't know. Like my thing can crap out of me any second here. This guy I'm going to share with you is a strong Trump supporter. This is not some lefty who's talking here. This guy is like actually a great sources on the X. He goes by Amuse. Simulation proves one shooter shared a video claiming there were two. I believe Martinson, that's the guy we're just watching, was Chris Martinson, is wrong, and Thomas Matthew Crooks was the sole shooter. Here's why. One, first three shots, Crooks took his first three shots from the prone position with his head and shoulders exposed over the rooftop peak. He aimed carefully with his first shot hitting the president in the ear. These shots were controlled and disciplined. Crooks' next five shots were from the prone position, but it seemed he pulled back slightly to make his head and shoulders less exposed to the counter sniper. This would change the sound since the rifle was farther behind the rooftop peak. These shots were taken wildly and without control. The counter sniper who fired the .50 caliber round that hit Crooks stated that by the time he hit him in his sights, he could only see Crooks' gun scope and the top of his eye and forehead, as most of his body was obscured by the top of the roofline. So he changed his position, and that could change, I guess, the echoing also. Second shooter theory: if there was a second shooter intent on hitting Trump, why would he have fired so wildly? He's never seen by the counter snipers, was never discovered. Why wouldn't he shoot in a controlled and disciplined manner? It doesn't add up. Moreover, why was he, quote, allowed to escape instead of being eliminated to ensure his silence? Convincing people of two shooters wouldn't be any more difficult than convincing them of one. The audio analysis, Robert C. Meyer, a gunfire acoustics expert at Montana State University in Bozeman, analyzed the gunshots. He found that two bursts of shots were fired. Both the first round of 3 shots and the second of 5 shots were fired approximately 330 to 390 feet from the C-SPAN microphone Trump was speaking into. This location matched the suspect's position. There's no significant difference in the sound of the 8 shots, suggesting it likely came from the same firearm, although I do think there's a difference in the sound. Then he talks about the possibility of flawed audio evidence. Chris Martinson, PhD, relied on audio that showed differences of 30 milliseconds. This audio went through multiple rounds of compression on devices with unknown latency using a mic with directionally given tonality differences on a device facing several different directions throughout the clip. iPhones and Android phones use DSPs to process, predict, and filter sounds, focusing on various sources. This reliance on multiple uncontrolled audio sources likely caused the discrepancies. And that's why he's saying there was one shooter and there was Thomas Crooks. So I think Amuse makes some great points here, but I'm going to call up Joe and get his thoughts on this. We're going to keep it short though, Joe, okay? Fine, I'll send you a link. He just texted me asking me to send me a link. I'll send it to you on X. I sent that over to Joe. He should be here in a minute or so. In the meanwhile, I'll share this with you. I haven't seen it yet, but from what I saw so far, it looks pretty cool. While we're covering this shooting. Well, there you go. All right. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I get it. There's a lot of data to chew on. Sound travels at about 1,100 feet a second. In shorthand, we say 1,000 feet a second. So, you know, a lot of frequencies, 1K and above, can take up less than a foot to cover their whole waveform. You know, so in shorthand, just to call it shorthand, if you make a noise that goes 1,000 feet and bounces back to you, it takes 2 seconds ish to get back to you. Second to get there, second to get back.
So
500, if it was perfect, right? Just to illustrate how slow sound, and you know this from playing ball. When you're the kid in the outfield, you know, you can chase the ball down. You've taken a step before you hear the crack.
Right.
Sound travels pretty slow. And how far are you away from the plate? 200 feet, something like that.
Right.
You know, which you know is 1/5 of what it. You know, so it's a really short span of time. But as far as the speed of things, like speed of light and that sort of, sound is really, really slow.
Right.
All of that to say, hey, you know what? If there's more than one shooter, sure, it could be. But that would be if you had a single point in space, if all of the microphones are lined up correctly, it's going to be perceived as a single point in space, ideally. And multiple shooters, 2 shooters, just 2, will create 2 different signatures unless they have precisely the same relationship to the single point in space where the microphones are capturing the sound.
But really what we're focusing on here is one person having 2 different signatures. And the question is, like, would a change of his position even like distort the signature?
Sure it could. Because where's the sound coming from? Is it coming? Which part of the weapon is producing the sound?
Well, that's a good point. It's not coming necessarily from the muzzle; it's coming from behind.
From the ejection port in the chamber and the side. A lot comes out of the muzzle.
Right.
You know, I think there was more than one shooter. I don't think the other shooter was necessarily not an employee of the federal government. No, I think the Secret Service fired at him more than once. That's the simplest thing. But the only way that actually makes the most sense is if they were just as far away from the mic as Crooks. And I don't think that was the case. You can see over Trump's shoulder, just beyond the LED.
Well, supposedly the guys who are crouching on a knee are not the ones who took him out.
Oh, very well. There you go. Because we know there's multiple. Uh-oh, you're frozen. We're back. I can hear you again.
It was a different Secret Service guy that was there doing that. I don't know why it is that my Wi-Fi is doing this. I'm actually plugged into the Wi-Fi. It's not like I'm.
Are you in a crowded Wi-Fi environment, like an apartment complex or something like that?
No. No. I'm in a bungalow, which is like, you know, expressly this house, and there's no one else even using this internet right now.
Maybe could be a lot of things.
I can't explain it. Anyway, I didn't have this problem last year when I came up here, but this is just brutal.
Well, that's why everybody tells you to be in a wire, because even though a wire can sometimes be slower, it's almost always more consistent.
Yeah, and I have a 100-foot cord that I basically use. Like the Wi-Fi is like, you know, a flight up the stairs, and I got my cord running up there.
Yeah, is the cord made well?
I think so.
Yeah, because you see, I've seen that sort of thing where you get a flaky cord that's pretty good. It's working at about 80%, which you won't notice doing streaming of videos and stuff like that. But you're taxing that connection right now. So, but you know that's not why. Whatever. Everybody can see you. That's the important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can hear you. Everybody can enjoy the content, and it's great. It's great content.
Thank you.
The sound thing is hard. It's easy to misunderstand because it gets into the arithmetic and the math, and people's eyes glaze over. And but the short story is, if it's 2 people in 2 different locations, you must have 2 different signatures of echo, because the triangulation can't work out the same for both.
Right.
You know, full stop. So everything else might be, you know, did the wind pick up? Because I'll tell you what, a 5-mile-an-hour wind changing direction, 10-mile-an-hour wind, will cause that sound to refract very differently. If ever you've been to an outdoor festival and heard the sound collapse on itself and then open back up when it's windy, and trust me, as somebody who operates these things, that happens. It's very annoying. Nothing you can do about it because the medium in which the sound's traveling is moving.
Yeah.
It's like, what, can you get the air to stop moving? It's like, well, not really. We go inside for that.
I'm sticking for now. I remain unconvinced about there being two shooters. I'm sticking with there being one shooter, but that's not saying I'm married to that position.
I think the simplest explanation is wind, atmospheric change.
Mm-hmm.
Wind picks up, blows a different direction. Boop, it's going to sound different, especially if the mics don't move.
Right.
And I don't believe anybody touched or modified or manipulated the microphones in that window of time. Those, how many seconds was it from first to last shot?
15.
If that, you're in disbelief, awe, and shock. You're not going to go, oh, you know what I need to do now? Not going to happen.
Yeah.
And as far as what else did you say? I wanted to argue
the
with
tenor.
You. No, the tenor the wind would do that, and it wouldn't take much. Wouldn't take much. The speed, it wasn't the speed of the bullets. The speed of the bullets.
The difference in time between the report and the bullet and a hammer hitting bullet.
Hammer hitting bullet.
I mean, the time from the report, the first hits it, the first sound of a shot versus like the report from that same shot. And
you mean that first echo, or you mean the news feed report? The echo, you mean?
Yeah, the fact that the echo is changing time.
I'm going to go to atmosphere. That's going to be that's the first thing we're going to grab is what was going on with the wind. Was there no wind? Was there a steady wind?
Why did you say you thought there's two shooters then?
My first, because I think the Secret Service unloaded on the guy. That was when I first saw it, that was my instinct. Now, have you seen a report? I have not. I haven't.
Don't you think that one of the Secret Service agents who was on the ground would have been hit by a bullet? Because, I mean, these bullets are coming when there are people on top of him. So, like, I don't understand, like, those last 5 shots. Oh, no,
the second shooter's a good guy shooting the bad guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because what I really don't believe are two bad guys who fire 8 shots into a crowd of at least 1,000 people and only hit 4 of them. Okay, one of them being Trump,
and
the other 3 are the victims. The one firefighter who died, and the other 2 victims, and no one else. And that's before you presume that any bullet hit the same person twice.
Yeah,
because what went through Trump's ear could have been the first round to hurt someone.
Right. Well, they say that shattered on the barricade thing.
Sure. So. I saw that little puff of whiteness there. Yeah. That's what I was going to tell you. As far as the ballistics of the round going through the ear, the bullet does not perceive that little bit of flesh. The bullet has too much mass. The bullet has too much velocity. It's going at something at 150 yards. It's going nearly 2,700 feet per second.
No, I understand that. I just know that it's got like whatchamacallit, that any sort of interference in its natural trajectory is definitely going to have an impact on it. I can't buy it doesn't.
Oh, it does, but at what distance and how much impact is the question.
Right. I'm not saying it's going to impact it 30 feet, but I'm saying it'll impact it then instead of it going on a downward slope, it starts moving on an upward slope.
And only how much farther did it go? 60 feet maybe from the center of the stage to the stand? Maybe 80 feet?
True.
So I shoot firearms for fun too. I'm not an expert. I'm a hobbyist, but I know a little bit about it. And it's like, maybe I'll send you a link on X. Some of those ballistic videos where they're recreating. Actually, I can think of one right offhand where they recreated the bullet through the ear with ballistics gel.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, send that over to me. Yeah. I want to wrap up over here before my Wi-Fi.
It was great talking with you. I hope.
Thank you, my brother. You were awesome. No, you were great. You were great. I appreciate
love everybody.
All right, later, brother. All right, so focusing more on the incompetence of the Secret Service. Two more elements I want to share with you here real quickly before I wrap up over here. Number one is Secret Service says it received, quote, new information. This new information is that Secret Service has been lying for more than the past week and now admit that they denied Trump's request for more security. The quote, the assertion that a member of a former president's security team requested additional secret resources that the Secret Service or DHS rebuffed is absolutely false, is what Anthony Guglielmi said in a statement on the day after the shooting. But after receiving detailed questions from the Washington Post, Guglielmi said the agency had learned new information, indicating the agency's headquarters may have in fact denied some requests for additional security from Trump's detail. It was reviewing documentation to understand the specific interactions better. So all those claims that said, Trump's a liar, he never asked for any more. Yeah, they're the liars. Are they going to actually retract it? They're going to say, wow, Trump was not lying? Haven't seen that yet. No, it's just we'll lie about him and then bury it when we admit that we're full of crap. It's very aggravating. That was one thing I wanted to share with you all. The other thing I wanted to share with you was this report.
Things, lost, but a couple of things that we found out. For example, the Secret Service did not even attend the 9 o'clock security meeting with local law enforcement. Pretty well put in charge the Butler County law enforcement to coordinate things. Law enforcement wasn't even on the same channel.
So that was just to be clear, Senator, that was a 9 a.m. meeting on July 13th, the day of the shooting.
Correct.
Secret Service
Secret Service had been there for site visits, weren't even there. But a couple of things that we found out.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the Secret Service. Not looking good at all. There's one more that I wanted to, when I shut everything down before, I lost it here somewhere. I need to see if I can find it. Who was it? Where was it? Let me see if I can find it real quick. History. This is it. There it is. I got you. All right. So, more details about the day of the shooting and the negligence of the Secret Service have emerged about him being spotted by snipers inside the ARG building three times before he shot Trump from his roof. At 5:05, Crooks was seen walking outside the window with a sniper team inside. One of the snipers saw Thomas Matthew Crooks outside and looking up at the roof, observing the building and disappearing. 5:41. So he got up to speak at 6:03 or so, 6:02. 5:41, Crooks came back with a rangefinder. Quote, Crooks came back, sat down, and looked at his phone. At that point, one of the snipers took a picture of him. Crooks took out a rangefinder, and the sniper radioed to the command post rangefinder in order to help him attest the distance so he can adjust his shot properly. 6:05 p.m., Crooks returned a third time with a backpack. Crooks disappeared again and then came back a third time with a backpack. Snipers called in with information that he had a backpack and said he was walking toward the back of the building. How is he still on stage? How? Sniper who noticed him at 5:41 p.m. left his position and went to meet a patrol officer at 6:06 p.m. Latest ABC version of video shows a picture of a different sniper during this admission. This roughly lines up with the timeline given to lawmakers at a recent briefing from the FBI director and the Secret Service director, Kimberly Cheadle, who said during an ABC interview that the roof was not secure.
Falling to the ground as more shots rang out.
What is that?
In total, there were 7 or 8 shots. So let's rewind and watch this at regular speed.
What is that?
Take a.
Sorry about that. I'm not sure how that happened. We're back. Despite all this, Trump was outrageously allowed to walk onto. This roughly lines up with timeline given to lawmakers at a recent briefing from the FBI director and Secret Service director Kimberly Cheadle, who said during the interview that the roof was not secure because it had a slight slope, and positions were taken inside instead. Stay clear of the slope, everybody. Crooks was spotted on the roof by Secret Service at 5:52 p.m. Despite all of this, Trump was outrageously allowed to walk onto the stage with a direct line of fire from the building's roof just 430 feet away at 6:05 p.m. and was allowed to remain on stage a whopping 6 minutes without being moved before he was shot at 6:11. Crooks was filmed crawling around the roof with concerned citizens calling out to police officers at 6:09 p.m. Let's check this out.
We are learning details now emerging about the man suspected of trying to assassinate former President Trump just a week ago. Phil Lipoff has more on that investigation.
This morning, new insight into the final moments of a 20-year-old would-be assassin, as we are seeing new pictures of Thomas Matthew Crooks right before Saturday's shooting. Local police taking these pictures when they first noticed the shooter, and these pictures of the items found on the roof, including a black cell phone and a gray wireless transmitter authorities say he intended to use to remotely detonate explosives in his car. A source with knowledge of the investigation telling ABC News about the searches found on the gunman's phone, the date of Trump's rally, major depressive disorder, the Democratic National Convention, and bomb making. Images of FBI Director Christopher Wray, Attorney General Merrick Garland, and other public figures found on the phone as well. And investigators are looking into whether the shooter used a drone to surveil the rally site sometime before the shooting.
Oh, yeah. That's what people are saying also. He used a drone. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see. Just a guy using a drone at a location where Trump's about to speak in a day or two.
We are also learning it's possible the attack could have been thwarted as late as 6 minutes before the first shot.
I think this is what it is, by the way. I think he changed position. 3 shots Trump, then shot somewhere different if the cops are coming after him suddenly. I think he ducked down. That's what they're saying. He ducked down. I think that's changing the audio.
Shot was fired. At 5:41 Saturday evening, a sniper with the local SWAT team put out a description of a suspect lurking around the ARG building. 24 minutes later, a radio call. That suspect spotted at picnic tables carrying a backpack. 1 minute later, the sniper who first noticed him left his position and went to meet a patrol officer. 2 police vehicles moved in position, but at 6:12, those shots rang out.
All right, so Phil Lipoff right here with more on that. And Phil, what stands out to you the most about what we're learning here?
Well, Gio, I think it's twofold. First, the shooter's preparation. As this investigation proceeds, we are realizing this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing. He had that detonator we just saw in those new pictures that connected to explosives in his car. Investigators looking into the fact that he may have flown a drone over this site in the days prior just to get a lay of the land. And then the second part of this is the timeline. As they're putting together this comprehensive timeline, we're realizing he was there. They knew he was there an hour and 2 minutes before the shooting, and then just 6 minutes before, a sniper left his position to go and find a local officer to find him, and then the shots were fired.
It's just incredible to think about that and see all of the new timelines that we're seeing here. What's the latest, and what's the next part of this investigation?
Well, obviously, motive is a big deal. Everybody's still trying to figure out. Some of these shootings, you have a manifesto, you have a note left behind, whatever.
Oh, stop with your motive. Oh, stop with this. This is they start going off about motive here. Yeah, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Yeah, maybe he was going after other people also. He was going after Nancy Pelosi next. Just stop it. Just stop it. Not 300 Win Mag either would have literally blown his head off. Fieldcraft Survival Channel did a vid saying it was the other agent with the 308. Oh, cool. Cool. DI can cause DIE. This is definitely true. There's one last thing I wanted to share, I think, from my recall. I'm not positive about that. Oh.
On July 13th,
I'm supposed to skip to.
an attempt was.
I'm not going to go through the Brendan Herrera thing. I'm not doing that now. I mean, he's saying skip to 550. All right, we'll try a little bit of it. He's trying to help me out here.
What that would do to a human ear. Now, in order to actually capture the bullet as it's grazing through the ear, we would need some serious high speed, maybe even ballistic high speed.
Did someone say high speed?
I don't know why they keep doing that.
Why did you invite us,
It's like a bit or something. I don't. So 100,000 frames per second. That should be plenty enough to catch a bullet like that because it's traveling at what, 3,000 feet a second, roughly.
So this will slow down time 3,000 to 4,000 times slower than normal.
Perfect. Well, let's get to it, guys. Let's do it. Now, we don't really care about distance on this one since, I mean, the ballistics are going to be negligible. If anything, closer distance should do more damage. So if this just rips right through the ear like it did in real life, then that should definitively prove it. So let's, I just want to make sure we get the most accurate shot possible. Firing.
Did I see a jiggle?
Did you? Oh, I barely clipped the ear. I clipped it right on the side, not on the top. I clipped him like right there in the middle.
I have to look for like a vibration. Oh,
yep, there it was.
Oh, you definitely grazed the ear.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Whoa.
Damn.
That was like edge of the bullet.
Yeah, I know. That was, I think we could get closer. Yeah, so I think he actually got hit right up here. The bullet impact was right there. You could see where it just grazed the very edge of like the middle of his ear. But we're gonna try.
Oh my gosh, I just totally forgot. I can't show firing bullets. Oh my gosh, I can't show that. I can't show that. Oh my gosh, YouTube's gonna come killing me. You can't show that on a live stream. You can't show that on a live stream. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Why? Oh, Lord, this whole video is going to come crashing down. This whole video is going to come crashing down. You can't show that. You can pre-record it and show it, but you can't show it on a live stream. I don't know why. It's one of the stupidities of YouTube, but I can't show that. Joe. I know I'm showing a recording. It doesn't matter. I'm a live stream. I appreciate it. Thanks, Fuzzy Creature. Damn it. All right, let me give you this last thing that I wanted to show you. I thought this was funny. I'm going to leave it with this funny while I try to deal with YouTube. They're probably calling me on the phone right now. What were you even thinking? What was going through your head? Nothing was going through my head. That was the problem. The next time you hear, because we will anticipate that we'll hear all these different cries about Trump and his whole election denialist Trump. Well, Peter Doocy basically put KJP on the spot, putting her on the spot about the whole election denialism.
Incorrect to say the 2020. So if we're all in agreement that it is incorrect to say the 2020 election was stolen, what about the 2016 election?
Look, I'm not going to go back into history.
It was a stolen election.
It was stolen. Stolen. He's an illegitimate president. He's an illegitimate president. You know, pretending to be president.
Why do you think the president is going to such great lengths to essentially prove that he beat you?
Because he didn't.
1/3 of Clinton supporters say Trump election is not legitimate.
I think he's an illegitimate president that didn't really win.
You are absolutely right. You can run the best campaign. You can even become the nominee.
Oh, that's Kamala right there. That's right. DNC presidential candidate Kamala Harris saying absolutely right. He did not win.
And you can have the election stolen from you.
The 2016 election was stolen. Got a nicer way to say that?
Say Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked our election.
Russia hacked our election. A little louder, please.
Russia hacked our election. That was a 9/11 scale event.
This was a kind of cyber 9/11. American
Cyber
institutions.
9/11.
Yes.
Russia hacked our election.
Russia, of course, hacked our election here.
Half of Clinton's voters believe the conspiracy theory that Russia hacked Election Day votes.
We know that they were into voting rolls, actual interference with the elections themselves. We know it happened.
Despite no credible evidence, 67% of Democrats believe Russia tampered with vote tallies.
Hacking the U.S. election. Hacking the U.S. election. Russia hacked our election. The Russians hacked our election.
Russia hacked our election.
Russia hacked our election.
Russian hacking of our election.
Hacking of our election.
Russia hacked our elections. Russia hacked our elections.
Stolen election.
Russia hacked our election.
Russia hacked our election.
The universal assessment that Russia hacked our election.
Foreign governments
Hacked our elections.
Most young Americans consider Donald Trump an illegitimate president.
He's an illegitimate president.
Why is he illegitimate? He just won an election.
He's an illegitimate president in my mind.
This is lethal.
I absolutely agree.
Experts urge Clinton Camp to challenge election results.
We will see how illegitimate his victory actually was. He's an illegitimate president.
Russia hacked our election.
Russians hacking our election.
Hacked our election.
Russia hacking our election.
I don't see the president-elect as a legitimate president.
Trump is an illegitimate president who stole the election.
This is America. We accept the outcomes of elections. We accept them here. This is America. Trump is so un-American.
He is not a president. He's illegitimate. And my biggest fear is that he's going to do it again with the help of Vlad, his best pal. It's terrifying.
Would you be my vice presidential candidate?
Hillary Clinton voters call to overturn election results.
More than 4 million people have already signed a petition on change.org, calling for the electors of the Electoral College to, quote, ignore their states' votes and cast their ballots for Secretary Clinton.
Trump didn't actually win the election in 2016.
We are the victims of a bloodless coup.
He didn't win the general election.
Yo, Electoral College, make Hillary Clinton president, period.
Donald Trump is an illegitimate president.
He's an illegitimate president.
Dems don't accept Trump as a legitimate president.
This wasn't on the level. This election was not on the level.
I don't think he's a legitimate president.
Our election wasn't legit. He got his victory from cheating.
Yes, Trump cheated.
Trump cheated the 2016 election.
He's an illegitimate president.
No validity, no credibility. And because of that,
Anger at what some see as an illegitimate president.
it will not be a peaceful change of power.
A number of incidents
turned violent. Protesters hurled trash cans, flash bombs, and objects at police.
Several officers injured.
This is so good.
Rocks and smashed windows, leading to more confrontations, injuries, and arrests. The chaotic scene just blocks outside the secure area of the inauguration.
If denying election results is extreme now, why was
It doesn't fix it. It doesn't fix it. There's no fixing it. There's no. They don't let you go back in time. They get mad at you for deleting it. They'll just get mad at me for it. What's probably going to happen is no one's going to see this stream afterwards. They're just going to block it from everyone seeing it. That's what's probably going to happen. Who was paid to investigate Clinton's server and produce the evidence that Russia hacked her server? CrowdStrike. Yeah, that's right. And they couldn't find anything.
So let's be really clear. That comparison that you made is just ridiculous. Protests against Donald Trump's election victory surged overnight, and some became violent.
Violence erupted on the streets of Portland during the second straight day of protests over the election of Donald Trump.
I remember driving through New York City in 2016 and seeing a march going on past me. People screaming, "Not my president! Not my president!"
Some protesters launched fireworks and other projectiles at police. Several people began vandalizing cars.
Some demonstrators smashed store windows. Protesters faced off with police in other cities too, including Oakland, Denver, and Minneapolis. Violent protests continuing now for the third day in a row. Some 4,000 angry demonstrators over Trump's election victory taking to the streets. Officers confronted thousands of protesters in what police called a riot, setting fires, taking their frustrations out on cars and buildings. People threw projectiles at officers and damaged property as well.
I threw a trash can at them because I'm angry.
One woman driving through was attacked as someone used a bat to smash her windshield.
They are undermining our democratic process, everything that we stand for.
There you go. There you go. And that little static is the perfect way for me to wrap up my show here. I apologize for all the technical issues that I had here. It caused me to start my show late, caused me to get stopped in the middle over and over again. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to see what I can do to remedy the situation tomorrow. Tomorrow is the House House Oversight Committee's questioning of Kimberly Cheadle. I may end up streaming that. We'll see what time I wake up and how that ends up going. So I may do that. You'll find that if I do that, you'll find a notification at goodlogic.locals.com. Goodlogic.locals.com. I already did a little run through it, so preview as to what we should anticipate for that. And certainly, you should check out that preview if you can find it. You're going to enjoy it. When did I do that? I think on Tuesday. Maybe like a 20-minute preview, which was actually pretty funny, if I say so myself. But what's not funny is the notion that there are people out there, hordes of people, their objective is really just one thing. Just one thing. They have one goal in life. And it sounds crazy when I say it. You'd be like, why would anyone have this? It is their goal. And I'm going to tell you, no matter how hard they try pushing you, don't fall for it. Do not, no matter how they pitch it, do not eat the bugs. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm having a quick landing here because I don't know when my connection is going to crap out on me. So I'm having a quick landing here. I thank you all for joining me. I will be back here, God willing, tomorrow. Till then, take care of yourselves. Have a great evening. And as always, Godspeed.